Hi, I'm Ashutosh Sinha, and I'm a global HR leader. I work with one of the big fours as a director for HR. And I love to mentor executives across the world in my free passion time. I'm also the author of my very first book, and I'm writing another one right now. But the first book went on to become a bestseller, which is Breakthrough, the framework for an inspired career. Some amount of time in my life, many years back, I was doing really well in my career and I had no complaints. And one fine morning when I was driving to work, I had this sense of epiphany in my head. What am I going to work for? But that epiphany made me go ahead and call my mentors, other CEOs, executives across the world who were in my network. And I realized that all of them had been through a similar moment of thought in their head at some point of time. The fact remains, everyone at some point of time starts thinking what are they doing in their life and their careers. And that's a moment which I call as a Bermuda Triangle of a career. You hit the Bermuda Triangle where your plane is flying and cruising well, but at that moment, you don't know if you're really heading in the right direction of your dreams or you're really bored at work, though you are doing really well. I had the story in my head about I need to tell to the world that what I went through, no one else should really go through. Everyone needs to really understand, based on my story and my life and life of many other mentors and CEOs out there, that how they could make that breakthrough in their career and lives. But that was the easier part, I would say. The harder part was really getting it down on paper. And the key challenge was, how do I put my thoughts together? Writing an article is easy, I would say, or writing a few papers is sometimes not so easy, but not so hard either. But putting a book together was a mammoth task. It was a project I had never really done. So my biggest challenge in front of me was, how do I really get going on that? But when I met Mustafa from Passionpreneur, on one of my socials, I was pretty impressed with the fact that book writing is a science. And as we got talking, I realized that actually, it's not about writing a book, it's about living your experience in the paper in a way which is very structured. I got into putting a process together, a certain blueprint, which actually came through my various conversations. And that blueprint really helped me to crack this huge mountain in front of me, the challenge in front of me, how to put all my experiences, my research and thought, and pack it into one solid book, which is not too big. That was the second challenge, which no one would pick up. So I still remember vividly the day the book came in my hand. And I still get goosebumps on my hands. And when I think about how do I really look at myself today, and at that point of time when I did publish the book, the child in me, which was an author, suddenly grew many years in a few weeks. That's how I look at it. And I loved doing it, the entire process, but not without the help of this scientific blueprinting technique, which I learned as part of my journey. The impact of my success today is most felt by me, not as a celebrity, not as an author, not as someone who is out there putting a story together, but as someone who can express his thoughts much more clearly and put it out there with the world. At the same time, the way the world recognizes you as an intellectual, as a person who loves to share something with everyone else, not in a way where you're trying to be brash about it, but in a way where it can help people to change their own lives. I almost have gone ahead and told so many of my friends who are senior executives or entrepreneurs or women who are having great epiphany moments in their own lives, making come back to the career or coming out of a career and getting into a second career. They have to share their story. And that's the best way they can actually help others through their own experience and their life story. And the best way to do that is through a book. So my ask to everyone who would ever come to me with this kind of a tip is, go back and check yourself. If you have a story, it's probably something you should rethink. It's worth every penny and every hour and every second. and we should go and invest in that, because you would have left something which is a legacy to the world of your own self.